As you can see, the mist beacon plumbing is controlled by these flight controls, and they're controlled with my feet. So we've controlled them down the straightaway by keeping the boat off the water, which makes it fast, but not too off the water, which makes it crash. So then we get down to the corner, and when we turn into the corner, we want it to stay on the water, but then at the same time, as it gets partway through the turn, we want to add more lift or more up elevator in an airplane to keep the nose up and to make it go faster around the turn. And you can see that happening too. So it's a real integral part of how the mist beacon plumbing runs and what makes it fast or not. So all this is real complicated, but without the help of Bill Cahill and all the employees of Beacon Plumbing, couldn't happen. Kelly and Sharon, support us. Bill Cahill supports them. Makes the whole world go round. And thank you, Seattle, for supporting Beacon Plumbing. They do a lot for us. They do a lot for the community. And looking forward to the race.
very much.
TACCOM, go ahead, over.
So you got one there, Jeff?
446 TACCOM. Can I get the POV again? It's a little broken over. Zero 4 POV, Roger. Just let me know when you guys come on scene. Over. Right now we have the Mist, the 447, and the Franklin Sheriff's Department on the upper division, and we have Benton County and the Seattle Mist boat headed this way now to get the lower division. So, yeah, they're on the way. So Benton on this side right now, and then we got the Mist and Franklin. We should be good now as far as running trial runs. Yeah, that should be fine. Because the boat's on the way now, so they should be able to hold that sign until we get there. Yes, sir. John, nice to meet you. We give it. This is ME2 Norris. We're in the TACCOM for the Columbia Cup. Good. I just want to let you know that I just took the assumed the GAR for the 29446 Mist boat, headed to the lower division with 04 POV and a GAR score of a low medium. And I will drop off when we're completed. All right, yes, sir. Come go. TACCOM, Roger. How many POV and what is your draw score?
We have 3 POV, 3 POV, 5 scores at medium, low, and medium.
So medium or low or medium? I don't know what that means. It's okay. I'm just going to give him a little medium. Sounds good.
As long as you write it down, you're not at fault.
Maybe a medium since it didn't sound good. I'm going to do that. 46 TACCOM, Roger.
DOB if they get like personal people on board.
Yeah. So it's like a risk assessment they make us do before we get underway to make sure like everybody's good to go and that there is a it's worth the mission's worth getting underway for. It's kind of a I don't know what you would call it. It's more like a matrix kind of thing. We're going through all right, is this worth it? Is it safe? And then weighing out and stuff. See one?
the powerful Miss Budweiser. This boat is one of 3 hot favorites to win at Pasco, and Chenoweth is up to the task. He's a 2-time winner of the Unlimited Hydroplane Championship, a cool, smart boat racer. Another hot favorite is the radically designed Pride Pay and Pack. The rear wing, adopted from racing car designs, provides additional air pressure to push her into the water on the turns. Another strong contender is Atlas Van Lines, with veteran racer Bill Muncie in the cockpit. With Miss Bud, already won 2 of the heat races on the Tri-Cities course. Bob Gilliam of Bothell, Washington, is the owner of Sapete, which is driven by Freddie Alter of Detroit. 5th boat in the field is Notre Dame, piloted by Ron Larson. He has driven for Pay and Pack and Atlas Van Lines in other seasons. With rookie Mickey Raymond in Pay and Pack leading Dean Chenoweth and Miss Budweiser by 200 points in the national point standing, this final heat for the Gold Cup will be a factor in determining the overall point national champion. A real battle shapes up for this biggest sports event in all the history of the Tri-Cities racing course. The tension builds as the 5 boats maneuver into their positions and the starters move to get the big championship event underway. Design of Pride of Pay and Pack, combined with the unerring skill of her driver, Mickey Raymond, puts the brightly painted racing machine into an early and commanding lead. The craft maneuver like dancers to avoid disasters to tales of competitors. The chills and thrills of big-time hydroplane racing enthrall the crowds which line the scenic course. Thumbs her nose at the hard-charging Mickey Raymond. The space-age Pay and Pack loses a propeller blade. With a damaged bottom, she goes dead in the water. The smart, steady driving of Dean Chenoweth at the wheel of Miss Budweiser pays off. He fairly flies past the slowly sinking Pay and Pack to take over the lead. Now the sun comes out for Bernie Little, a veteran boatman from Lakeland, Florida. Little, who long ago lost his heart to the Thunderboats, is one of the sport's most colorful owners. In addition to the beautiful Miss Budweiser, Little owns several other boats, flies his own executive jet airplane, and sometimes rides to work in his own turbine-powered helicopter. As the day begins to sparkle for Bernie Little, the clouds roll deep in black for Dave Hirensberger. He owns Pride of Pay and Pack, and has been an innovator in boat design since he first started racing unlimited hydroplanes, a boat named Dollar Bill, back in 1968. As it roars down the main straightaway to the start-finish line. Miss Budweiser is out in front, followed by Lee Sherman's boat, Atlas, and Pizza Pete, which got a good ride by Fred Alter. Notre Dame, with Ron Larson at the wheel, brings up the rear. Miss Budweiser raced in 1972 as the Pride of Pay and Pack. Then Bernie Little bought her, rather than undergo the problems of building an all-new racing craft. And she proved her worth today under the skillful hand of Dean Chenoweth, who takes the checker and waves a victory signal to a cheering crowd. Bill Muncie, winning as driver in the sport, brings his Atlas Van Lines boat in. Dean Chenoweth is only a part-time driver of Thunderboats. Workaday, he's a successful Ohio auto dealer. He began racing the big boats in 1968 as the driver of the Smirnoff for the Smirnoff family. Then he moved to the Budweiser camp, where he brings in one more victory today for his owner, Bernie Little, a happy man and a major face of the sport of unlimited hydroplane racing. Now Chenoweth meets the press. The rooster tails have subsided, the engines are quiet, and soon the popping of champagne corks at victory parties will replace the exhaust-stacked bellows of the thunderboats.
Break, Franklin, Patcom, radio check, over. Franklin County, Patcom, roger.
So on the third check, on second check, third check,
Bottom deck,
I don't know.
Osmo 452, Patcom, radio check, over.
Patcom 1152, loud and clear.
1152, Patcom, roger. Break, 446, Patcom, radio check, over. 46 Patcom, roger. Break, Benton County, Patcom, radio check, over. Benton County, Patcom, radio check, over. Yo, did y'all get me on the radio? Yeah.
how can I hear you guys loud and clear?
I'm gonna try again. One second. Benton County, Patcom, radio check, over. You get me? Would y'all be good? Y'all look every 30 minutes and call cell phone. Their radio is broken. It's not good, but it's not good.
I figure it's easier for me to just know. What was that, Lauren? That's a dollar. I switched both of them. Any staff at your own personal
Final heat, the Budweiser Miller American on down the line. And as you see here, another one of the great landmarks in the Tri-Cities area, the Span Bridge, an international award-winning structure. We'll return to Tri-Cities right after this. Particular boat in its third year of racing, should be retired soon. A new Miller coming out, the Frank Kenny Unlimited. Let's hear from the crew chiefs about the matchup in the final. John, what about the final heat now? You've got a situation where the Budweiser's looking awfully good today just as well.
Yes, for sure. I think it's going to be a real smoker. We're just going to have to see what happens as the race continues and the water gets rougher. I think that, our boat right now, the Miller American's getting through the rough stuff pretty well, and it looked like they were having some trouble when they got in the big bumps. So
turns might be the key then.
I think so. Yeah, it's first lap or two, I think, is going to be a real smoker.
Ron, what concerns you most about the final now?
Well, I think it's going to be a real barn burner, and we've set the boat up to run with Chip on the first lap, and I'm suspecting speeds of 140 on the first lap. So
Turns, big concern though?
No, if we go fast, it seems to be turning quite well. It's just when we're running slow is when we have problems. And if he can break out in the lead and get some nice clean water, I'm sure that we'll be in good shape. We just need the clean water.
What about the final? What concerns you the most?
Get into the corner before everybody else.
Are we going to see another sensational start and push people out to the beach?
You're going to see a start. You won't forget it. This is going to be fun. That's what we came here to do, is try and win the race. Keep talking to me on the radio.
If it does what it's supposed to, it'll be okay. If it doesn't do what it's supposed to, we're probably in trouble.
Let's see.
Jerry, what concerns you the most?
If I can get the RPM of the N2 up, we've got the engine cooled down. Well, I don't know. We made a little change this morning and we lost 100 degrees, and we've been hunting for that for 2 months. Now we're trying to tune it up.
In other words, get more power now.
Yeah, we need more output shaft speed. And if he's only running 84, 85%, and if he'll put the 95 or 100 step back, I'll tell you, we'll get right after it.
And as the boats head out for the final, there's the Miller American awaiting the Budweiser. And wait a minute, they're having troubles getting it started. The crew has gone out in a chase boat trying to find out what the problem is. Bernie Little can't believe it. He's got a date with the Miller out there in the final, and it may not happen. Here are the drivers in the final. Milner Irvin in the Frank Kenny Unlimited. Steve Reynolds in the Miss 711. Andy Coker will be substituting for Ron Snyder in the Holson Miss Madison. Ron not up to it. Still the injuries causing problems. Tom DeEath and the Squires shop. He's had a couple of great starts today. Chip Hanauer and the Miller American, the defending national champion, and of course the national point leader now, the Budweiser's Jim Kropfeld. Here's Andy Coker heading out in the Holson Miss Madison right now. Let's see if we can talk with Ron Snyder, see what condition he's in. Gonna call it a day, huh, Buzz?
Yeah, there's some areas that's hurting that I don't want to mess up anymore than what's already messed up, so.
Is your shoulder okay?
Yeah, it is in the shoulders, more down in the kidney area, and, we can't do without the kidney, and I don't want to take a chance with it.
Well, you gave it a heck of a shot.
Well, a couple bad bounces that last time showed me, hey, Snyder, you're not as healed as much as you think you are, so.
Seattle, it's a week away. Is that too far to think about right now, or do you think you can make it by then?
No, I've been thinking about it. That's why I'm going to set out this final heat and stay over tomorrow and get in the whirlpool and heal up for the Seattle race.
On to the matter at hand. The final is here, but the Budweiser is not. This is the Squire shop. A legal start by all boats in the final. On the left is the Squire shop coming down. Oh, my, look how tight Tom DeEath took that turn. I don't know if he'll be called by the referees on that or not, but around the turn he goes in first place. Setting it up as they come around the turn in lane number 1, and going way up into the air is the Miller American in second place, but in lane number 1, and that is where Chip Hanauer has been all afternoon. He will have the Squire shop in the right place at the right time, that being on his outside hip, if indeed he can catch Tom DeEath going down the back chute. The Squire shop, first place, second place, Miller American going into the second turn. Here comes the Miller. Tom DeEath with another great start. I don't know if he took the first turn too tight or not, but in the meantime, he now has Chip Hanauer on the inside. Here come the two boats now down the main straightaway. Look how close they get. The Miller and the Squire. The Miller with a slight lead now, it appears, as they come down, completing lap number 1. Speed for the Miller American, 133.7. For the Squire, 131.5. There's the 711 in third place. The Miller American taking over first place. Chip Hanauer trying to get victory number 21. Around the turn, swinging wider, forcing the Squire Shop to go out wide. Now moving into lane number 1 is the 7-Eleven and Steve Reynolds. Let's see if he has the horsepower to bring it up now alongside the other two boats. You see Jack Schaefer in the Tempest. That is the first alternate boat replacing the Budweiser, which could not get started. We have gotten word from the Budweiser camp. A solenoid went dead on them and they were unable to start the turbine engine. Coming down now, completing lap number 2 is the Miller American. Speed, again, 133.4 miles per hour. Second place, the Squire Shop. There is the perspective shot and the lead for the Miller American as they race away from the sunshine, heading for the Tower Bridge here on the Columbia River. A 2.5-mile course, and Hanauer in first place ahead of Tom DeHeath in the Squire Shop, and Steve Reynolds in the 7-Eleven. Look how high the right spots and got up into the air, much like the Budweiser did in Heat 2B. Steve Reynolds still with about 85% of the total horsepower that he'd like to have. More like 100%, and he'd be up there with the rest of the boats. But in the meantime, here is the Frank Kenny Unlimited with Miller Irvin making his first final of 1986. Again around the bridge turn and down the back chute. Andy Coker doing a great job. First time he sat in this boat since San Diego in 1985 when he drove this boat for the Madison people. The Miller American in first place. Again, the choppy water of the west turn, racing into the sunshine and now away, and the checkered flag awaiting. Chip Hanauer, victory number 21, his third in 1986. The Miller American, slight damage on the tailpipe, is the winner here in Tri-Cities. Second place, the Squire Shop, and Tom DeHeath out of Detroit. So the key here for the Miller American is the fact that they have cut away at that big lead for the Budweiser in national points. Now it is just over 500 points, so they're nipping at the Budweiser tail. Let's go down to the winner's circle. Well, the Miller crew poking a little fun at their driver after Hanauer rammed the dock in Detroit after winning the Gold Cup.
All right, Chip, way to go. Congratulations. It was a tough one, too. You got some damage there.
Yeah, we had a problem in the first corner, and I had a problem, and then I had to make a problem for Steve, so I hope Steve's okay.
Well, nevertheless, you look at the national points, and they're important. You're down to only, what, 530 points behind the Bud now?
Yeah, we had some rotten luck, you know. In Miami, we didn't get a single point, and then last week, or in Evansville, we had a hole in the boat, and they won the race, but we're barking at them now.
What were you thinking when you were out there and all of a sudden no Budweiser?
Well, I kept watching for him, you know, and I think I saw the cowling go up on it, and I thought maybe that might be it. So we needed a break to make the points race interesting, and they gave it to us. On the other hand, you know, that's not how you like to beat Jim Cropfield, but he got to win a few without us, so I'll take one without him.
Third win of the year for you. Congrats, Chip.
Oh, thanks. We're real happy. It's just been a real difficult year, a real trying year on everybody individually, personally. We've all learned a lot about ourselves, and I think this team's going to be good.
For the Budweiser camp, there is always next week, and they will be ready for their date with the Miller and the rest of the fleet in Seattle.
Cities, Washington. I suppose this race is always going to be the one they say, well, what would have happened if the Budweiser would have started? But that's part of racing. The Miller American was there at the gun, and they get the victory.
I think the only ones that were really cheated, besides, of course, the disappointment from the Budweiser crew, because their boat did not start, would be the fans themselves. They wanted to see that confrontation between the two boats that have won all the races this year between them, and that's the disappointing part.
Well, we'll see them again in about a week down in Seattle, and I hope you'll join us for that race as well. For Jim Hendrick, I'm Don Poyer. Thanks for joining us. See you in another week.
Air travel was provided by Continental Airlines, the official carriers of the Unlimited Racing Commission. Shoes and sportswear were provided by Avia, the high-performance footwear for both men and women.
This has been the Budweiser Columbia Cup. Brought to you by ANCO, the best wiper blade you can buy. Tests prove it.
As soon as the heat's done.
It's got nothing to do with out of town. It's actually just over the bridge in Pasco.
So out on the course, Jeff Bernard, GP79, Bad Influence. And he'll be making some runs as we get ready for some heat racing coming up later today. And we have a lot to discuss after our Dash for Cash and some boats that were bumping out in turn number 4. Buffalo Brothers up in turn number 4. Hope you're having a great time this morning. But it was Jimmy Shane, and we didn't know what had happened, but we've had a chance to see video. We've had a chance to see a little bit of a patch that's been put on the side of the one home street, and a lot of people are looking at the orange boat and the driver, Dave Billwalk, Beacon Plumbing.
Well, he is a competitor.
No question. But we've seen both camera angles, and it's difficult to discern. If you look at the camera on Jimmy Shane's boat, you see it one way. If you look at the camera on Dave Billwalk's boat, you see it the other way.
It depends on your point of view. Let's say some damage done.
Unfortunately, there was not an overhead drone shot available for the upper turn.
But we did have a chance to look at the driver cams of both of the drivers, and both seemed to...
There was contact.
But both seem to have something to say as far as why that contact occurred.
Agreed.
So I'm just looking forward to 1B today.
Let's head down to the Lamps and Pits, our American Radiator Pit reporters, Glenn Boggin and Brad Luce. And what is happening down in the Lamps and Pits this morning, guys?
Good morning, Michael. How are you doing?
Really well, Glenn.
Good. I turn it over to the expertise of one Brad Luce, but he's being very smart and applying a lot of sunscreen right now.
Well, you have to be prepared.
Lube liberally.
He even got himself a PGA hat.
That's fantastic.
Oh.
That's good, because shade is so important.
Yes.
Shade and sunscreen and drinking water. And I think he even started the day with the breakfast burrito. So
that's good.
I know, it's great. This is making good radio, too.
And as I just learned, if you wear one of these wide-brimmed hats and you try and spray a little bit of that sunscreen on the back of your neck, it all goes on the back of the hat.
That's great.
Now the hat won't get burned.
I will not have any trouble with a sunburn on my hat. Oh, gosh. We're off to a roaring start here.
Oh, yes, boy. Literally.
Oh. Well, good morning, guys.
Yeah, good morning. So discussion still continues from yesterday, Dash for Cash. It was a whale of an exhibition and a great two-boat race, as it turned out at the end, between Jimmy Shane and Dave Billwalk. And there was some contact in the upper turn.
Yeah, there was definitely some contact, and I heard you guys talking about watching some video. Yours truly has not seen said video. But I know the boats are okay. Kelly Stockland right now walking right by me, walking on his way up to the tower. So we know that he will be talking to his driver when the U40, the Beacon Plumbing, comes out for a test session, which gets started here very quickly. I did take a look at the U1, the Miss Home Street. They seem to sustain certainly most of the damage, and it really wasn't anything terrible. It was a big scuff mark on the right sponson, but they've got it repatched. They all look good. I'm sure they are ready to go. Another boat that had some issues yesterday that we're following today is the U11, the Joker's Casino, driven by Jamie Nielsen. You will remember they did not come out and qualify yesterday because of a broken motor mount. Talked to team owner Shannon Rainey this morning. They still have work to do, but they are very optimistic they can get in this 9 o'clock test session, so I'm working my way there now, and we'll keep an eye on that boat.
Just a quick question, pure conjecture. Any inference with the fact that it's orange tape on the U1? The fact that the color is orange, the tape.
Is that what it is?
Yes, it's actually orange tape, and I thought that's kind of an odd color to choose for a repair job.
Yes, it certainly is, and you're sending your Cracker Jack pit reporter down there, and of course he's colorblind, so I'm glad you pointed that out. Thanks.
Well, it just occurred to me like, oh, I believe the U40 is a certain color of orange.
Yeah.
Anyway, gamesmanship, and I'll say it again, Heat 1B should be very entertaining.
Yes, it should. Some other damage that we had yesterday was, and look at this.
What do you see, Brad?
I see Bert Henderson with a driver's suit on.
Oh.
Was Jeff in the boat last time, or was Bert? Because he's talking to Grindell, the owner of the GP79. I wondered if maybe that was Bert that was in it and not Jeff. So I got half a hunch here. Well, he's walking my way.
Well, the boat looked good.
So was that you? Ah, it was. Bert Henderson, welcome to the Tri-Cities, my friend.
Oh, it's good to be back.
And how's the boat?
Awesome. It's got tons of pull. A few adjustments to be made, you know, with that propeller combination, but it's definitely there.
So is that the extent of what you're going to do today, or maybe some more fun?
You might see me back out there another time.
Maybe in competition.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. All right, so you're wearing your Spirited Detroit U7. How is the U7 these days? We miss it. We wish it was here.
I wish it was here, too. I mean, we did a lot of work in the offseason after 2019, and, you know, it's just waiting, and I'm waiting to get back in the seat of that thing, and hopefully we'll see it here in 2023.
I'd like to see you here later on this afternoon.
Hopefully you will.
Anyway, Bert, it's good to see you here. Good to see you behind the wheel, and we'll look for you out there running.
Thanks, Brad.
Be behind the wheel, not behind the field. That's the way it's supposed to work. All right. Bert Henderson, I did not realize that was him. The radio personnel, when they went up the tower, failed to tell me that, Mr. Weber. You could have told me who was going to be driving. Gosh, so we're having fun down here already. I started to say, before I realized Bert had been out in boat, was that we had another boat that sustained damage yesterday, but not in our unlimited class.
Oh, you're right.
Grand Prix class, which was the GP12. And I'm overlooking at that boat right now. Remember, they had some issues when they pulled the boat out of the water after that great run at the end of the day, and they are still working on it. However, the patch is it has certainly been applied, looks to be dry. I think I can get Bob Shellhays here. Maybe he's underneath the boat. Bob, can we talk for just a sec? Give me an update on how things are going here. Plus, you're in the shade down here. That's a good thing.
Yes. Well, actually, we either hit something out there or hit a nasty hole in the water. Not really sure which. We kind of feel that that robbed us of a heat victory because we had passed the bad influence, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just slowed down. But it's structurally, it's sound. It's the air trap. All we're doing is putting a new skin on it so that we don't do any more damage, and I think we'll be okay. We're going to be just fine.
So you're going to be ready to go?
You betcha.
And I've had this discussion with you before, but I'm going to ask the same question I asked at the test session over here. Give me a couple of comments on this awesome Austin Eckert. The kid is something special.
Well, you know, he's not a rookie for one thing. He's been driving inboards for 16 years, and he's got a couple of national championships under his belt in the 2.5 liter stock class. That's a very competitive class. So, I mean, the guy really knows what he's doing. And he's just doing a great job for us. I mean, even Mike Grindell came over yesterday and said, boy, you know, that is one heck of a driver you've got. He just drove the wheels off that boat. So I says, I'm going to have to put a special tune-up on to stay ahead of him.
Bob, I appreciate the update on everything. I'll let you get back to work. But and stay down here in the shade. It might be a little cooler.
Well, it's never...
Uh-oh.
Off of you. I itched like a son of a gun last night. I went up and I took a shower, and when I got all done, I still itched. So it just takes a day or two to kind of work it out of your pores.
You don't mind if I leave now, do you?
No, you're not really keeping... Actually, you're giving me a little respite here, so appreciate it.
Well, put on a good show for us. Yesterday was awesome. We want it again.
You betcha. We're going to do our best.
All right. There you go. Bob Shellhays, owner, and he is underneath the boat. I was crawled right down underneath with him there. That was kind of fun. I step out to the back of pit row, and that looked like a bunch of orange that you were talking about that just headed away from the pit area here, the Neil F. Lamson pit area, Dave Vilwalk, and the U40, the Beacon Plumbing. And you guys were talking about that little bumping incident yesterday that took place. It definitely did, and as we were just saying, Heat 1B looks like fun.
I could listen to that gentleman talk all day.
No question.
Great stuff.
Who, Bob Shellhays?
Yeah.
Oh, we can go get Bob. Now he's got the sander in his hand, and he's down there throwing a lot of dust, so I'm getting away from him. I don't need that when I go home.
Boat improvement, live on Kona.
We got boats in the water down here, too. So you've got up at the west end, you've got Dave Vilwalk. As we say, he'll come out in our Heat 1B. We've got the Goodman Real Estate in the water, the U91. Jeff Bernard will be climbing aboard.
So everybody wants to get out this morning.
Yeah, I'm going to make darn sure it's Jeff Bernard this time, too.
Sure.
Not my buddy Bert Henderson. Bert's a really good guy. He wants to bring that 7 out so bad. Bert works in Brockville, Ontario, Canada. He has an operation called Henderson Hydroplanes. And so he does a ton of work on boats, all kinds of boats, all classes. He builds new boats, he repairs boats, he upgrades boats, you name it, Bert Henderson does it. And he's got that U7 Spirit of Detroit ready to go, and he wants to race it so bad. Oh boy, Dave, just right back to picking up that right sponson again and floating it all the way down the front straightaway. Derek, right in front of you.
Oh, and it's looking good. Happy to be here this afternoon. I should say this morning, but it's already heating up, of course, out there on the track. You guys had mentioned so much about not necessarily the physical damage, but the emotional damage that perhaps went down a little bit yesterday between Jimmy Shane's crew, Vilwalk and company. But that's what makes this so fun, is just that competitive edge. And while it seems a little quiet here during the testing, I imagine that things will heat up pretty quickly once we get to that first heat.
No doubt.
Hey guys, I think you heard that turbine firing up in the background there on my microphone. That
Yes.
is a good sign. That would be the U11, the Joker's Casino.
All right.
So the motor is now aboard. It was not when I got here this morning. One has to assume the motor mount is fixed if the motor is in the boat and it's been trailer fired. Dave, to the lower end of the race course, we are going to have more activity. I mentioned Jeff Bernard, the U91 Goodman Real Estate. Jeff is just now getting ready to climb aboard. Behind him and in the water is the U1, the Miss Home Street. Jimmy Shane will be coming out. Behind him, the Turbinator.
A 158.581 miles per hour for the Beacon Plumbing U40 with Dave Vilwalk. Dave dives into Shell Sun Market, turn number 3. There's that big wall of water off the skid fin. A little bit of a haze. Again, we had a house fire in Pasco this morning. Multiple agencies responding to that. We don't have any reports of any injuries. Fire is under control at this time. Start finish line and a 161.059. Heading down the front stretch to All Doors Incorporated, turn number 1.
Yeah, Dave pulled his foot as soon as he got across your start finish line there. You could hear it down here. We couldn't see him, and now it appears as though he will get to that big right-hand turn.
So this is, Summit Funding turn number 5, back to the pits. The only right-handed turn out on the Columbia River. So, Brad, new combination, a different prop. What are we doing now? Getting ready for a true race setup?
Absolutely, that's what we're doing. And when they come out to qualify, that is one race setup. When they come out to race, that is a different setup. We talked a little bit yesterday about propellers and how they can make a very, very, very thin propeller. It'll go really, really fast, but it may not last very long. That maybe is what they will use to qualify. But when they go race, they're going to need a different prop. Also, there was some conversation that we noticed yesterday about how when the boats are running by themselves on the race course in qualifying, they can use any part of the race course they want. They don't have to hold their lane. They can enter the turn in lane 1, exit the turn in lane 6, and they can just kind of make a big oval, a big egg out of the course if they want, whatever they think is the quickest way around. But come race time, you're going to have to put the boat in a lane, and you're going to have to hold that lane while you're running against the competition. So that might be a different setup, because you may want to set your boat up to run in lane 1. You may want to set your boat up to run in lane 6. Do you want to accelerate real well, or do you want to have a lot of top-end speed? That's what they're working on here this morning.
So what is the right combination when you get out there racing?
On this race course,
yeah,
I would say you want a lot of boat speed. This is a big course, and this is a fast race course. And we'll watch that during the racing. We'll see who gets off the exit pin first and comes down and can maybe move away from boats as they start down the backstretch, moving away from Derek. That's always the slowest part of the race course, only because it is the current working against the boat. But they can accelerate quickly and start down the backstretch. But then on occasions you'll see boats either on the inside or the outside of them slowly start to gobble them up as the top end speed comes into play. It's the old line of what's better. You want to be quicker or you want to be fast?
So if we're doing some speculation with the definition of what you're talking about, the race setup, to turn a 161 for Dave Villwock with a race setup, that's a pretty impressive run if the boat is indeed set up for heat racing. That's a great speed.
Yeah, nobody said you weren't real smart about this stuff. Yeah, you've been here long enough. That's exactly right. It's also cooler this morning. They can run quick, but a 161 with a race setup is darn good. You might have heard piston power in my microphone. The U3, the Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. Away from the dock, Jimmy King.
Remember, they had the engine problem yesterday, replaced it. So they have a couple of bullets left. They brought 4 engines.
Yeah, it was an interesting conversation because we spoke yesterday about how well the U3 ran down in Guntersville. And then when they went out the second time yesterday with the second motor, I heard Ed Cooper make the comment that was the motor that they ran down in Guntersville, and that it's a known entity. And boy, that motor was really, really strong. He's popping on his way up the backstretch there, but when he's going that speed, that's okay. Just see how he sounds when he puts his foot in it.
Special thanks on our broadcast to Farmers Exchange in historic downtown Kennewick. Online, it's mowerhome.com. They want you to make it to the finish line with your power equipment. That's why they have a complete parts service department and can take care of anything, and free pickup and delivery in the Tri-Cities. They do it the right way. Farmers Exchange, title sponsor for our coverage. So up at the top end of the course, off of the exit pin of White's Finished Furniture and Hardwoods, turn number 4 is the 3. Griggs Ace Hardware. Across the start-finish line and a leisurely pace heading down the front stretch. Wonder if they're testing out their combination, what they feel is going to be most important as they head to heat racing coming up later today. And our heat draw is something that we kind of touched on a little bit. Heat 1A is coming up at 1:55 this afternoon. It'll be the 11 Jokers Casino, Jamie Nielsen, J. Michael Kelly, and the 9 Lynx Healthcare, Miss Tri-Cities, and the 3 Griggs Ace Hardware with Jimmy King. Then in Heat 1B, it's the matchup that the entire H1 fandom has been waiting for.
It's about time.
The 40 Beacon Plumbing, Dave Villwock, and the 1 Home Street, Jimmy Shane, along with Jeff Bernard in the 91, Miss Goodman Real Estate.
It's going to be good to see the Joker's boat get out on the water.
No
see what
question.
she's got. Weren't they having mountings problems?
Engine mount?
Engine mounts. And they thought they had it dialed in. Unfortunately, during testing yesterday, another engine mount problem. So they decided to put it back on the trailer and let's fix this thing for good and have at it today and tomorrow.
And Brad, did they feel that happened while they were transporting the boat? Oh, uh-oh. That is not a good sound.
You heard that, friends. That's like somebody turned the speed off of a 45.
That's like somebody lost a blade off a propeller right up through the bottom of the boat, and it took the prop shaft and turned it into a pretzel.
You could see the back of the boat shimmy.
Ooh.
Oh. It's a sound we did not want to hear.
Happened right in front of us. Wow.
It was a leisurely lap at 132.655 miles per hour. Cockpit is up. And Jimmy King will wait for the Wallowa Lake Tramway tow rope back to the pits. He's heading to the back of the boat to take a look. He waves to the fans.
He's okay.
He's fine.
Mike, it was
he's demonstrating with his hands, and I think now he's waiting for a tow rope. He really wants to get back to the pit so they can get that out of the water and take a look.
Was interesting. You were starting to ask a question.
Yeah,
about the U11.
Yeah, the motor mount.
And then you went, oh, that didn't. I thought, no, I can still hear him coming. And then, boy, the sound made its way down here. Wow, that was violent.
Yeah, and again, visually, you could actually see the boat
shudder,
kind of move back and forth a little bit.
The boat is starting to sink.
Oh, it could be taking on water.
They're
right.
going out to make sure. That's what we hear from the officials.
That's why he was probably very demonstrative on the back of the boat, hoping that somebody would get him and get a tow as quickly as possible.
I'm sorry, Mike, what did you just say you picked up officially?
Well, we didn't pick up anything officially.
I thought you had something on the network.
No, just that the boat appears to be...
They're heading out to make sure that the boat doesn't
sink,
and to make sure the driver, Jimmy King, gets off fine.
Sorry. Yeah, I see a number of boats going that way, so we're going to be down here for a while. I'm going to watch the crane movement down here because I got a hunch they'll pick these boats and pull them back up out of the water. That is too bad. Let's hope it's nothing terribly.
Again, props to the crews getting out there as soon as they...
The volunteers.
Yep. You know, as soon as he was waving his arms, man, people were just springing into action and coming in from all different directions to make sure they could provide assistance. It takes a village.
We can't see him, Mike.
Yes.
Where is he?
Front stretch.
Well, I know that, but I mean, how far down is he?
He's getting closer towards the entrance pin to All Doors Incorporated, turn number 1.
Oh, wait, I got people standing next to me. I guess I have to move a little to the right, and then I can see those things. Stephanie, how are you?
Great. How are you doing today?
Doing just wonderful. You want to be my spotter this weekend?
Sure. I would be happy to help.
I'm hiring people left and right down here, Michael.
Well, Town Square Media, they pick up the tab.
Absolutely. Oh, now I see the boat. Well, I don't know why I couldn't see. It's this colorblind thing. The red doesn't show up to me.
I just said thanks to all the volunteers, Kurt. This volunteer situation here.
I got you.
Special thanks on a broadcast to ESCO Electric, bringing you the coverage of our infield, the DMZ, with the growing possibility of blackouts and brownouts. And there was a power outage in Kennewick.
Yes, there was. In fact,
it affected the pit area all the way up to 10th. You might want to be thinking about ESCO Electric, because they're an authorized Generac backup generator dealer. So when the power goes out, Generac gets to work. Reliable, portable, essential ESCO Electric since 1972. Call 509-547-5504 or log on to letsgowithesco.com. Also, thanks to All Doors Incorporated. Spring sprung on your garage. Call the pros at All Doors Incorporated, 547-2158. If it goes up or down, opens or closes, they can fix it right the first time with free estimates. For service, installation, repair of all automatic and manual entry systems, All Doors, 547-2158.
And turn 2, Tire Factory. Receive an instant $60 rebate on a set of 4 qualifying Firestone tires through August 14th. Inflation Buster Instant Rebate. Firestone has tires for every season with a smoother ride. Trust what you love to Tire Factory. On 4th and Pasco, Dupertale and Richland, Wheeler and Moses Lake, and TireFactoryTC.com.
And our thanks to Shell Gasoline and Sun Market Stores. Shell Gasoline actually will protect against engine gunk for better mileage, and that is so important.
Who wants engine gunk?
No. Get your fill and fuel at the Shell Sun Market stores in your area, and they also have Firehouse subs. Find them in Burbank, Clearwater at Interstate 82, Richland at Horn Rapids, and Keene Road in West Richland, because locally owned and operated does make a difference at your Shell Sun Market. We'll take a time out. More of our coverage coming up of the HAPO Columbia Cup, thanks to Farmers Exchange on 610 KONA and 610KONA.com. Please do.
It's absolutely. It's more than okay.
Well, thank you.
We demand it.
Gentlemen.
We insist.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
It'll be my lunch date.
The only thing that sounds bad is the speakers with us. I think they're just about rebooting the speaker system anyway. Frank Cooper, News Radio 16.
610 KO. Let's see what Mike's doing. He's eating a burrito. Boy, he's really tearing into that bad boy. I think he drank a lot last night. He's got an empty tummy.
My man Mike's in training to take on Joey Chestnut next 4th of July. He's starting slow and working his way up. We're coming for you, Joey.
They say he's starting in the senior division because he's older than Methuselah. But we figure if he really throws it down, they'll let him into the junior division.
You'll have to define Methuselah for me. We're not that swift.
Thanks, Mike. That was... Did you fix that problem? They could hear us in there. Boy, that guy had a bad attitude, huh? Oh, he seemed like he came in pretty hot. He was looking at me, buddy. It's your voice. I'm like, I thought he was going to jump over Kurt and knock Mike's teeth out.
Rob, I'm going to email you the recording of the E350.
We don't got nice enough girls for that. Those things are spendy. Sweet spot. Right. We should like make a mark on the barge so it goes exactly here. Little rattle cans.
Just like they mark the channel.
We called the 350 race while you were probably heading over the bridge.
Those anchors down there, been down there for years, so why not?
Mark it up, make it the same every year. All right. Noted.
And then text me back when you have it
The same number of people to listen.
in Adobe and you could play it back. Okay?
What I'm going to move going forward. I got 2 fans. That's all I need. 2 fans. Stay cool.
All right. It should be on its way to you. Hopefully it makes it. And we're standing by. Jenny did. I don't know. It's mostly potato.
So they're rebooting the speaker system.
I don't know that.
I do know that. I heard them say that. I went down to check it to see what the speaker sounded like.
Welcome back to the Brutzman's Memorial Barge. John Mosteller Memorial Start Finish Line. HAPO Columbia Cup 2022. Our coverage on 610 KONA. Brought to you in part by Farmers Exchange. Ready, set, mow. How is your mowing going? Time for a new Toro, Husqvarna, or Gravely. They're in stock, ready for free delivery in the Tri-Cities. You'll find it at Farmers Exchange. Great service after the sale. Also, thanks to Bunch Finnegan Appliances. Get details about the leap into luxury appliance packages for Thermodor, just under $10K. Bunch Finnegan Kitchen Pros put it all together for you. Bunch Finnegan, 9 East Columbia Drive in Kennewick, and go to bunch.com. They're providing the coverage of our air show on 610 KONA. Also, thanks to the Educated Cigar with 600 different cigars, including every one rated 95 and higher by Cigar Aficionado since 2010. 107 fine pipe tobaccos and fine wood pipes in all price ranges inside Atomic Bowl and Joker's Complex in Bridgeland. Open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. EducatedCigar.com.
And thanks Freedom Equipment Rentals, truly locally owned and operated in Pasco. They know the work doesn't stop at 5, and they have the equipment to help you keep the job going. Freedom Equipment Rentals. Let them give you the freedom to get the job done. FreedomEquipmentRentals.com.
Getting confirmation that believe it is the prop that was thrown on the 3, Griggs Ace Hardware. And Jimmy King should be on that Wallowa Lake Tramway tow road back to the pits, and hopefully getting that boat up in the air soon so they can assess exactly what did occur, Brad. And that's what everybody's probably waiting to find out.
Yeah, Michael, I'm here right by the boat. They have not yet lifted it out of the water. They've got it on the sling. They're just very slowly right now starting to lift.
Letting water drain out?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure we're not going to see any propeller when they do get it up.
Yeah, the question is how much damage did it do to the bottom of the boat?
That's what we're about to find out. And quite honestly, I could have walked down there and taken a look, but there's a lot of crew members and team members.
Yep.
And Ed Cooper is there, and maybe we can catch a word with Ed here. Ed's coming this way. Ed, not the way you wanted this morning to go, obviously.
No, obviously not, for sure.
What did Jimmy tell you when he got back?
Well, there wasn't anything to tell, you know. It just, you could hear it standing on the dock. You knew what it was. It lost the blade. That thing didn't have very much time on it. And just blade come off. Of course, it rips all the back of the boat. You know, it'll be a fun job to fix it. But we get to do this too often is the problem.
I'll let you get back with your team. Thanks for taking a moment, and sorry.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Ed Cooper, owner of the boat. We still can't see the propeller, can't see the strut just yet. The strut being the last appendage, if you will, that the prop shaft runs through before it goes to the propeller. It's right at the very back of the boat. I can see it there. There is what appears to be some damage. The boat, when it got back here, the boat was definitely listing to the left and toward the rear. And actually, it is still that way as they've got it just hanging ever so slightly out of the water. But the back end of it on the left side is still underwater. You can see oh boy, here comes the first blade. There's definitely damage on it. There is damage to the fairing on the left side.
So that's where the blade that came off penetrated.
It's still under the. Yeah, it looks like it maybe came off and went to the left.
Yeah.
I still can't see they've kind of dropped it back down just a little bit. I was telling someone here on the dock that sometimes when you drop one of these props, they go straight up. And we've seen occasions where there's been a hole right in the middle of the wing.
Yeah, and I think, Brad, that Tate Meyer and the H1 crew here that's with the video production, actually were able to isolate some of that in their video.
Are you getting a live feed from them right now?
Yeah, we are, and it's should mention it's Goodman Real Estate, Miss Madison Racing, the 91 with Jeff Bernard out on the course into White's Finished Furniture and Hardwoods turn number 4 at the exit pin. We'll get a fast lap out on the course. It's a good-looking paint scheme, gold and black. And a 154.918 miles per hour, and still hitting it hard heading into All Doors Incorporated turn number 1.
Yeah, here comes Jeff. Boat looks solid. This hull always seems to, just like that. He's entrance, apex, and Derek.
Yeah, he's actually looking pretty low to the water. Not used to some of these guys when they round this turn 2 here. They really flip that right sponson up a bit, but he's gliding pretty low. It seems pretty smooth still, though, all the same.
Yeah, and Derek, it's a good point. The water is almost a little bit sticky right now this morning. There's not a whole lot of wind, and it's a really smooth surface, and you have to really work at it to get it to hydroplane the way you want it to, because there's just not much out there on the river.
Maybe he's got the race setup going, potentially why
Good
that's
point,
not
too.
as much of a sponson walk or the air under the right sponson. Looks like, I'm with you, Mike. That's a good-looking boat.
Yep.
Great-looking scheme.
Second lap, 157.670 miles per hour. Heading down the front stretch, All Doors Incorporated, turn number 1, over to Tire Factory, turn number 2, and Derek Mazzelli.
Yeah, still cruising along exactly to your guys' point. Looking low to the ground, looking good, though, as he turns a little wide here now out on 2. It's nice when you've got all this space to yourself out there. Huh? These guys really like to let it go, and now maybe slowing down a little bit here as he hits the Griggs backstretch.
Yeah, that's a timing run. Let's watch where he decides that he wants to put his foot back into it as we head back down to the pits now and get another update. Brad, have you had a chance to assess any more of the damage to the 3 Griggs Ace hardware?
Yeah, just a little bit here. They're just very slowly pulling the boat out of the water. If you've got that live feed there, I'm standing pretty much right next to the cameraman. but what you can see there is the propeller as it's what's left of it as it slowly starts to come out of the water. But in front of it and on the actual transom of the boat, you're starting to get your first glimpse of some damage there to the strut area. And you can just imagine when you take a propeller that is spinning as fast as they are, even to your point, Michael, when they're going at a slower speed, they're still spinning at a rather rapid RPM.
Oh, he's doing 100. You know, he had a lap at 132. So on the straightaway, he's doing 150, 155 maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you have a 3-bladed propeller, which obviously is balanced as best you can possibly balance one of these things. They're $20 to $25,000 a piece, so they're perfectly balanced. And all of a sudden, you lose one blade.
And you're going cattywampus.
You are completely out of balance. And sometimes the best thing that can happen is you can shear the prop shaft right at the back end of the strut and just have a clean break, and we've seen that. And then it's just a matter of a different propeller and a different short shaft that they can put on. But
yeah, but otherwise that shaft starts bouncing around because it's out of round.
And that's the sound you heard is a hardened steel prop shaft turning into a pretzel. And you can, and then the question becomes, okay, we know when we get this thing out of the water that we know the prop's gone, got that, and we can see the damage now to the strut on the back of the boat. But we're starting to see delamination also to the portion of the bottom of the boat where that strut is affixed. But now you start to wonder, how far up the drivetrain does it go? Does the damage go all the way up into the gearbox? And now you're talking another $15,000, $20,000, $25,000. Did you damage a gearbox? And so it's not a happy day. You heard it in Ed Cooper's voice.
No question.
It's tough, and I'm standing about 10 feet away from Charlie Gregg, and you don't need to ask him anything. You can just see it on his face. He's disappointed. The whole crew is.
Well, they want to put on a show, and they're not going to be able to. So it turns out then in Heat 1A coming up this afternoon, looks like we'll have a 2-boat shootout with JMK, J. Michael Kelly, and the 9 Lynx Healthcare Miss Tri-Cities, and Jamie Nielsen in the Joker's Casino 11. And we still want to see that 11 get back out on the water because they've got an engine mount that they had been working on.
Yeah, and good news in that regard. I turn around and look behind me, and that boat has just now been unhooked off the crane. They are in the water. So the 11's in the water. Jeff Bernard is coming back in the 91. And the drama kind of continues down here at the tail end of the U3, the Griggs Ace Hardware.
While you guys were assessing the damage, Jeff Bernard looks like he was trying to do some score-ups, to do some timing runs to get to the start-finish line. One, the orange marker just in front of one of the boats that lets you know if it's a green flag, how many laps to go, etc. Then he took another run at it from the yellow buoy, which is just at the top of the stretch run to come down the front stretch. So he gave himself a couple of different timing runs at different points going into turn 4 to try to make some semblance of, okay, this is how much time I have. This is what I need to get to the start-finish line at this mark. So he's, it's almost like the golfer going out to, the driving range and maybe going over to the sand trap and blasting a few balls out of the bunker. It's just a certain aspect of the boat racing game that he's working on right now to get ready for heat racing.
Well, he wants to know where he can put his foot into it based on where he's at on the clock.
Amen, brother.
It's yeah, I can tell you, Ed Cooper in the interview that Brad had, it's just a
shame.
Just a really disappointing for them to have that kind of an issue. Tire Factory turn number 2. Pasco Shoreline is go right ahead, Brad.
Can I jump in real quick? I mentioned that the Joker's Casino, the U11, was in the water. I got Shannon Rainey standing right here. One's got to assume you're ready to go.
We're ready to go with our crew. Hands off to them. They worked so hard in this heat yesterday, all day long, late last night, and then they were here early this morning, and they got it all fixed. The amount of work that they did to put this boat back on the water for you fans, outstanding. We can't love the Joker's Casino crew enough. So Jamie's about to take it out here on the water, and we can't wait to see what happens. So
fire up those radios and talk to them. Have a good day, my friend.
Thank you so much. Have fun out there.
There you go. Right from. I would have talked to Scott Rainey, but I'm sure Scott is up on the pit tower, which is a long ways open. And now I've got a better view. The back of. I think I'm breaking up there a little bit. Sorry, I'll come a little bit your way. But when that boat went in the water, I counted 3 blades in that propeller. It's now completely out, and there's only 2. But that's what we knew. Shannon came down when she came off the back of the pits and came down the ramp here to the dock. She was looking that way, and she goes, "How bad is it?" And I said, "It's not good at all." That's going to be a project. Too bad.
So if you had to guess, percentage chance that they would be able to patch it up and get it back on the water, is that something that's just out of the question, Brad?
I think it's out of the question.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I would say so. Now, you can count on one finger the number of hours I put working on a current day race boat unlimited, but so far the damage I'm seeing, there's a lot. There's a lot. I think they're in trouble. Coming away from the dock right now, a boat that's not in trouble, had a little bit of damage from yesterday, but they've got it repaired cosmetically on the right-hand side. Maybe not look so good. Got a little splash of orange there that our crew is going to get a look at as the boat comes around the race course. But the U1, the Miss Home Street Jimmy Shane, certainly the one could make the argument the state of the art for the sport of unlimited hydroplane racing. This thing is something special. He's going to come right by Derek. He's going to stay to the outside. It looks, and Derek.
Yeah, and some will just say, Brad, that it adds character. Of course, we love that sleek blue and white, but a little bit of orange. You had alluded earlier. Someone I remember on our team, we had talked a bit about significance of the orange tape. We know that Vilwalk, who we had that brief interaction with yesterday, runs the orange and black U40. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I mean, hey, as far as I can tell over here at Tire Factory turn number 2, that boat's still looking pretty good. Like you said, it appears to be purely cosmetic damage incurred.
That's all we could see, but, you know, a pretty large patch that they put on it. Special thanks on our broadcast to Ice Harbor at the Marina. Come on down by the river and enjoy Ice Harbor faves on tap. Full bar, expanded food lineup that has something for everyone with seating indoors and out on the patio. Celebrating 15 years on Clover Island, Ice Harbor at the Marina.
And thank you, Canyon Lakes Golf Course. Thanks to the onshore transportation, the 2 golf courts. I play the rest when you can play the best. Great yearly Twilight memberships now 50% off. Voted best Tri-Cities golf course 9 years in a row. Log on to CanyonLakesGolfCourse.com. See the picture of the propeller?
Yeah, we're showing a close-up picture of the propeller on the 3 Griggs Ace hardware, and it's it really is quite a devastating.
Yes, and number 12 at Canyon Lakes is my favorite hole in the Tri-Cities.
12,000 square foot thing of beauty.
Yeah, and I still have difficulty hitting the green in regulation.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
Yeah,
it's just a little creek in front of it.
So no, it's a lake. It's Canyon Lakes.
Yeah, I know, but in number 12 is just a little guy with the turtles. How do I keep finding the water? I keep finding the dang water.
Well, speaking of water, out on the river right now, heading to Tire Factory turn number 2, Jimmy Shane in the 1.
Not sure what he's doing yet.
Timing runs.
Okay.
Race boat setup.
Yeah, again, very close to the water now as he heads along the Griggs backstretch. And it's so interesting, guys, just to go back to that U3, just how being on one side of the river or the other really impacts that experience. You guys were over near the front stretch, of course, on the barge down in the pits. You maybe had a better view of what happened with that Miss Griggs Ace hardware boat. Here it was all after the fact. I heard you guys talking, and I thought, what is going on? And then all of a sudden that sound finally reaches the Pasco side of the river here, and then I heard it all the same. So totally wild, and I think that's part of the fun thing too about this event, guys, is just how it can vary, whether you're hanging out down by the pits, whether you're up a little further along the Kennewick shoreline, or over along Wade Park here in the Pasco side, which is a little more private this year than past, but still certainly becoming more lively as we get a little later on into the morning now.
And I'm taking a closer look with the field glasses that I got at Griggs, the binoculars, and I don't see a patch on that sponson on the right side. So maybe they had actually done some body work to it and had repainted it.
And then took the patch off or just repainted it.
I think so.
We're catching word there is a driver's autograph session noon today at the stage behind the pits. A chance for you to shake hands, get a selfie, maybe get the proverbial John Hancock. Driver's autograph session noon at the stage behind the pits. Please make a note of it.
It's always a good time. Atomic Screen Print and Embroidery bringing you that autograph session at noon. And you will find them in the park. And, of course, they're our official apparel provider, Atomic Screen Print and Embroidery. A couple locations on the Kennewick shoreline. They're down by the pits. And then over on the Pasco side, you can find another booth there with all of your H1 items, vintage hydroplane T-shirts, and more. Thanks to Atomic Screen Print and Embroidery in downtown Kennewick.
Again, Shane rounding Tire Factory turn number 2 along the Griggs backstretch. Same as what we've seen. You mentioned that sticky water situation, different configurations going on right now. Everybody seems to be pretty low, close to that water, taking their time, trying to make sure that they get things right here during this open testing session, because, of course, it's going to heat up real quickly, both temperature-wise and then, of course, intensity out on the track there along the river a little later today.
And solid ride, 161.148 miles per hour for Jimmy Shane on his hot lap. The other one was a timing run. Second lap, 162.103, and he will back out of the throttle. It looked so pedestrian.
I was going to say, maybe it's his skill as a driver. Maybe it's the beauty of the boat. It just didn't look like he was asking it to give it everything it had. It was just like, I'm taking this for a walk in the park, Kazansky.
And he heads to Summit Funding turn number 5, heading to the right-hand turn back to the Neil F. Lamson pits. Perfect morning for the boats out on the river. Special thanks on our broadcast to the Car Doctor and Marine, your trusted automotive boat and diesel mechanics at Car Doctor and Marine in Pasco. Will get you back on the road, out on the water. Don't be on the wrong end of the tow line. Full service auto, diesel, and boat repair at the Car Doctor and Marine in Pasco at A Street on 13. Also thanks to True Value, Washington Hardware. Yep, they are still open. They welcome all the race fans as the Hydros return to the Columbia. They're open Monday through Friday from 8:30 in the morning until 1 p.m. Still open at 6 West Kennewick Avenue.
There's nothing like the spooling up of an unlimited hydroplane. Hey, come on down by the river. Enjoy your Ice Harbor faves on tap, plus a full bar and an expanded food lineup that is something for everyone, with seating indoors and out on the patio. Can you believe, Mike, 15 years on Clover Island? Worthy of a celebration. That's Ice Harbor at the marina.
And the 11 is out on the water. Jamie Nielsen, Jokers Casino.
Hey, let's hear it for Jokers.
Yeah, the Jokers is out, and somebody just made the comment there that there's nothing like that sound of that turbine spooling up. What you guys don't get is what we get here in the dock. You get that nice whiff of kerosene, little Jet A fuel comes with it. Nothing better. Nothing better. But these Joker Casino team, as you heard Shannon say, they work their tails off. They've got it out on the water, and that is terrific news. Jimmy Shane has just come back to the dock in the U1, the Miss Home Street, and I thought it was very interesting what both of Mike, you and Derek were saying about Jimmy Shane. It just looked very pedestrian. And you hearkened me back to, I hate to say these kind of things, but back about 40 years, I remember watching a couple of particular boats go out and qualify on Lake Washington, and I thought, man, I didn't think the boat was running all that hard at all. And pretty soon, you know, you got a new course record. And boy, I guess that's the true sign if you've really got your boat dialed in, when it just looks so easy.
Smooth ride. It was just like he wasn't really getting on it the way he could, and still turned like a 162. So if that's a race setup, these heats are going to be tremendous all day.
Yeah, well, we'll ask him that as soon as he steps off the boat. The black box, which is, again, Mike Moore said, check that out, make sure I'm not completely colorblind. That box that she's carrying right there, I think, is orange. They call it the black box, and Mike being a pilot, you know, an airline pilot, he probably knows all about that sort of thing.
At the Joker's boat coming to the start-finish line. We'll finally get it on the clock. That's a 148.7 for the Joker's boat.
So, Brad, a pedestrian 162.103 for the one Home Street with Jimmy Shane. Earlier in testing, it looked like it wasn't as pedestrian, let's say, for Dave Villwalk in the 40 at 161.059 miles per hour.
Yeah, and that's what we say is the difference. And I've got the ramp blocked, so Jimmy can't get past me here. I'm throw elbows here. So the crew's talking as you're out there on the race course, and they give us a speed of $162, and they say it just looks so easy, and they're using the term pedestrian. I'm going to assume it's a little different from where you're sitting, but it also means the boat ride's got to be awesome.
Yeah, the boat ride's amazing. It's this boat is rarely ever run under 160 mile-an-hour laps. And so I think that's the expectation of this hull and this team and this boat. So I think we're proving that we're still here, and the boat's still in tip-top shape, and we're looking for a good, clean day of racing today, hopefully.
And the guys are saying, and they're asking me, and they go, obviously, this is a race setup, not a qualifying setup, and still to see the 162, just more optimism for you.
Yeah, I think, honestly, if we want me to be honest, we ran our race setup in qualifying yesterday. We did, and we wanted to see how it was going to do against the other team's setups, and I think we proved that we're going to be right there when race time comes, too.
I think you did. If that was a race setup in your top qualifier, that's got to work, and even some nice work there. We don't even have the brightly colored patch. Even got some white paint on it there.
Yeah, no, the boat's in great shape. It was mostly just cosmetic damage from yesterday. There was one little stress crack around a frame that we were worried about, so we went ahead and dug into it, and we want the boat to be in as best shape as possible. So we did the extra work last night. We took the crack all the way down, got it out, and Trey Holt did some amazing work this morning to finish it up, as well as last night. We're looking in good shape. We're happy to be on the water, and we're happy to be representing Home Street Bank out here in Tri-Cities. We're looking for a great day of racing.
It is all about that crew, isn't it? J. Michael Kelly likes to say, oh, I get to do the easy part. I just go drive it. They do all the work.
Yeah, I mean, it is, I would say it's not the easiest thing in the world to run these boats, but when you have crews like what J. Mike and Jeff and myself have behind us, it makes it much easier to be confident in the boat and run the boat hard and fast. So I'm able to do that as a driver because of the crew behind me, and I appreciate all the work that they do.
I've got the water, you don't, so go get one, and we'll talk with you later, my friend.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, Jimmy Shane, driver of the U1, the Miss Home Street, and you heard him make the comment that, truth be known, they ran a race setup yesterday during qualifying, and we're still top qualifier. That says a lot.
Believe it or not.
There you go. I'm going to say it again. Mike, this is not your first rodeo, man. You're catching on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen this game get played before. There's a lot of what they call dry land boat racing.
What's amazing, and I was looking through the binoculars, they did a fantastic job of cleaning up the home street after the little touch they had with the 40 yesterday in the Dash for Cash.
Yeah, while I was talking to Jimmy, they brought the boat right up over our head there, and well, not right over, because I don't do that. I do not go underneath those boats, and I always walk away. And I kind of pulled Jimmy with me there a little bit, but the boat did go over us, and we got a look at the right side sponson there, and you can see it's there if you know to look for it, but if you didn't know it was there, you'd miss it. So it looks really good.
And our tech updates from the Neil F. Lamson pits with our American Radiator pit reporters, thanks to All City Transmission. They don't specialize in one brand, they specialize in all brands, whether you have a foreign or domestic model. Highly trained team at All City Transmission can handle the job. They're in South Kennewick and at allcitytrans.com. Also, thanks to Summit Funding, Turn 5 coverage as they head back to the pits, the only right-handed turn on the course. Summit Funding. Over 99% of people that are pre-approved and go under contract with Summit Funding close on their homes. They have an office in Kennewick. Visit their website, summitfunding.com.
And thanks, Turn 4, White's Finished Furniture and Hardwoods. White's Finished Furniture and Hardwoods open 6 days a week at 2 West Kennewick Avenue. Shop amazing bedroom sets, tables, and furnishings you can buy today and enjoy today in your home or business. Hardwoods include live edge and dimensional lumber, paint, decor items, and more. White'sHardwood.com.
Also, thanks to everybody at Anderson and Zentz Dental. Let's take a look at our forecast high, 111. And winds a little bit different, more easterly direction today. Northeast wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour.
Seems a little more stagnant today than it was yesterday.
So far, but remember, it was in the afternoon when the breeze really picked up.
And so did the heat.
Yeah, it did. It brought the heat right to us.
And guys, down here in the dock, the Joker's Casino has made its way back. Jamie Nielsen is going to debrief with a couple of his crew members here and owner Shannon Rainey. And again, we keep forgetting to talk about Scott Rainey or talk to Scott Rainey, but that's because he is
Busy.
in Jamie's ears up on the pit tower. I'm sure he's walking back down here now.
Yeah, the hot lap, 148.767 miles per hour.
And I would not put a lot in that.
Yeah, me either.
Hey, the boat came out, and there's always those 3 boxes you want to check, right? The boat started and went out and ran, and it came back all under its own power. And that's a really good thing. So it'll be interesting to talk to Jamie. I'm sure he's going to echo the sentiments of owner Shannon Rainey, which is, man, this crew is really good. They busted their tail. And like JMK always says, you know, he gets to go out and do the fun part. So he's still, now I think we can get him here right now. Mr. Nielsen, first of all, welcome to the Tri-Cities, my friend.
Hey, Brad, thanks a lot. We're happy to be here.
And happy to be out running on the water, I am sure.
Oh, for sure. So yesterday was a pretty trying day for the entire team, but it feels good to get all those issues behind us, get back out on the water, and make some clean laps. So, you know, they might not have been the fastest this morning, but it's a good starting point for us, and we're going to get in the truck, look at the data, and figure out how to make this Miss Joker's Casino even faster.
There's an old saying about if you're going to have some trouble, have it on Friday. Don't have it on Saturday or Sunday, so maybe that's an omen.
Yeah, for sure. The sooner the better on that, but you know, I can't credit this team enough. They work their butts off. They're one of the first ones here, last ones to leave, and they're the ones that really make this boat go. So to drive it for them and try to put it up front for them is real special.
Well, it's very good. We're glad to see you out on the water. Glad to have Joker's Casino on board. I know that's special for you guys.
Oh, for sure. So really happy to partner up with with Joker's Casino this weekend. Some great people over there and great help. So. Yeah, looking forward to putting the Joker's Casino up front the rest of the weekend.
You got some more speed for us?
Oh yeah. Don't count us out. We'll be up there.
Very good. Jamie Nielsen, thank you. Go enjoy that water and get the Joker's Casino on the water again.
Hey, thanks a lot.
All right, Jamie Nielsen, driver of the U11 at Joker's Casino, local sponsorship right here in the Tri-Cities, and they're doing their best to represent them as the boat lifts up out of the water. Good morning, young man. How are you? Got our friends with us here on the dock. Is the beautiful chartreuse and royal blue. But the U11 Joker's Casino goes overhead. And Glenn Vaughan, your job was to get a couple of boats, be they vintage boats behind you or unlimiteds or GP. We'll take any of them. Your job was to get some more boats in the water.
All right, I didn't see that on the morning memo.
It gets pretty quiet down here right now. I thought maybe we might see the U9, the Lynx Healthcare presents Miss Tri-Cities and J. Michael Kelly. That's the only boat we haven't had out on the water yet this morning. And how much more time have we got in this test session?
Well, until the air show at 11.
Okay.
So about an hour.
So we've still got about an hour, so Glenn can still redeem himself here. This is your job, Mr. Vaughan.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
Weather forecast updates thanks to Anderson & Zent's dental team. They love to help you smile, build a better smile. It's full family dentistry offering facial aesthetic treatments with PRF. It's about you and Anderson & Zent's Dental in South Kennewick off Union at 24th at KennewickSmiles.com.
And taking a gander at the Blue Bridge, traffic moving nicely, both northbound and southbound. And thanks for that. No rubbernecking. Although it's tough. Couple of years I was not on the broadcast watch when there's a hydroplane, not necessarily 5, but just 1. It's really hard to draw your attention back to the road because it's such an amazing sight and you don't see it very often. So
it's actually a spectacular view from the bridge.
You better believe it.
Well, if you're driving, please look where you're going.
But Bob's Burgers and Brew, they're smart enough to sponsor the Traffic Watch. Couple of locations, 3609 Plaza Way, Kennewick, 2775 Queensgate Drive, Richland. Gourmet burgers, salads, lunch, dinner, and tasty. That's a tasty beverage. Serving only the best Bob's Burgers and Brew on the Traffic Watch.
And we follow points all weekend long thanks to Grocery Outlet with Independence from Hunger Food Drive. It's going on now. Every little bit helps. And here's how you can help. Give 5, get 5. Donate $5 or more in a single transaction in-store or online and receive a coupon for $5 off a future purchase of $25 or more. It's pretty easy to do. They also have the pre-made bags available inside the stores, and they work with the local food bank agencies to make sure they have the right items in that bag that they'll donate in our community. So stop by Grocery Outlet in the Tri-Cities.
Great overhead shot of Dave Villwalk and J. Michael Kelly running up the backstretch. As you can see, our overhead camera couple of boats coming through the turn. We are at 2 minutes and 42 seconds away from the start of Heat 2B of the 2010 Lamb Weston Columbia Cup.
There's a look at the newly named and numbered U-96 Spirit of Qatar. In case you have been out of touch, that's the boat that formerly was the bright orange U-16 Miss Elam Plus, sponsored now by the Qatar Marine Sports Federation. The same folks, Sheikh Hassan bin Jabor Al Thani, who brought the entire fleet over to the Middle East for a very successful inaugural running of the Oryx Cup UIM World Championship. Now they are on board and sponsoring Team Elstrom. You're looking at Greg Hopp going up the backstretch. Greg will be in lane 2. Good spot for him. Hopper, a great starter, as Mark pointed out. He could be our leader, Mark, going into the first turn. That boat is a little older, not quite as wide, doesn't corner as well as some of the newer lighter boats, but it has tremendous chute speed, so I won't be surprised if Greg Hopp leads the field into the first turn.
Coming down the front straightaway, you're looking at Jeff Bernard. That's the red FormulaBoats.com U5 with the long snorkel intake, and Greg Hopp on the left side of your picture. Just coming through the infield is Dave Vilwalk in the Spirit of Qatar, and he'll slide way outside and be coming into your picture in just a moment as you see the boats now starting to form up as they head down to the Blue Bridge turn for one more run all the way around the course and back down to the starting line. 1 minute and 20 seconds left to go.
Watching one of the red boats go through the turn, we should mention one more time for the fans watching on television and on the internet, there are 2 Formula Boats entries in this heat. The way to tell them apart is by the shape of the cowling. The U5 FormulaBoats.com runs what we call the saltwater snorkel all the time. So there is a big pipe sticking out above the head of Jeff Bernard. That's him coming up on the inside right there. Next to him, the teammate with the shorter or more standard air intake. That is J. Michael Kelly in the U7. The boat is sponsored by Graham Trucking. So those two, a little bit hard to tell apart sometimes on the race course. We will try to help you with that. Now, Mark, the field is forming up on the backstretch. Steve David back a bit, but he has plenty of time to make that up, and he's going to come around and try to time the start and try to get ahead of rival Dave Vilwalk, who will be off to his right.
2 guys on the outside have the longer way to go. They have to fan out. Now Steve David puts the hammer down and starts to fly through that blue bridge, through the western turn, as everybody else kicks up the rooster tails. They've done their timing runs during the testing. They know exactly how long it takes them to get down to the starting line. Here they come. You've got Bernard on the inside, then Greg Hopp, then J. Michael Kelly, and then Steve David. Dave Vilwalk lagging back at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's the 0.
It looked like a good start on my watch. Vilwalk is back a little bit. Steve David has a nice advantage over him going into the first turn. We would expect the leader to be someone over on the inside. Maybe Jeff Bernard in lane 1 can come through here in first place. We see both red boats out front. It is Bernard with the lead at the apex, but we have to watch now as he comes onto the backstretch. Will anybody come with him? Bernard has enough race boat to get ahead of this field, and that's exactly what he's done. Now, I think I see his teammate through the spray. We see Greg Hopp running back there. All boats are in the same rooster tail as they go up the backstretch. The Formula team is out ahead. J. Michael Kelly now right beside Jeff Bernard and is moving out slightly ahead of him.
And we can't see the 2 boats that are outside of them, but that is Steve David and the Spirit of Qatar with Dave Vilwalk as well. Top of the race course, turn number 2, first time of 3 times around. Here they all come, Steve, off the buoy. It's Jeff Bernard, leads him down the front straightaway. Right next to him is teammate J. Michael Kelly, and then it's Steve David, and then it's Dave Vilwalk. They're all within about 3 boat lengths.
J. Michael Kelly appears to have boat speed on his teammate, and Steve David is catching both of them. The 2 boats that were on the outside, Steve David and Dave Vilwalk, are going to fly into this turn very nearly up with the leader. Jeff Bernard not able to hold off his teammate, but now you see him use the inside as an advantage and take the lead back. J. Michael Kelly, a great turn right there as he pulls in right beside his teammate, and you see that they put a little water between them and the boats in 3rd and 4th, using the inside well.
Yes, and they're still leading. It's Kelly leading up the backstretch. Right next to him, 1 boat length behind teammate Jeff Bernard, hidden in the rooster tails behind them. Both Steve David and the Oboy Oberto and the Spirit of Qatar, Dave Vilwalk. Second time around, they come to the top end of the race course. This is going to be a great race for another lap and a half.
J. Michael Kelly actually the leader in lane 2, leaving a lot of room for his teammate Jeff Bernard, and of course the boats to his right having a great race. It looks like Vilwalk now is pulled up beside Steve David. Vilwalk is going to take 3rd place. David will drop back into fourth. It's Kelly by a nose at the end of that lap.
But they are dead even 3 across. Bernard, Kelly, and Vilwalk as they head down to the Blue Bridge turn. It didn't take much more than about 100 feet past the end of lap 2 for Vilwalk to catch the others, and Steve David now is just a little bit back. We'll see if they get cleanly through that turn.
There comes Vilwalk.
Said earlier, Dave Vilwalk drove around in in Detroit. He drove around everybody from lane number 4.
We saw Steve David in the overhead shot really get caught in a mess between lanes 2 and 3. I believe he got slowed down a little bit by some rough water. Look at Vilwalk go. The U96 Spirit of Qatar now on the backstretch is leaving the 2 red boats. J. Michael Kelly a little bit of a lead over Jeff Bernard. That's the race for 2nd and 3rd. Steve David is in the Rooster Tails. We can't tell you exactly where he is until they turn toward us. Vilwalk has the lead as they head this way, but he is on the outside. He is the leader, though. He holds the lead coming out of that turn. Here's the checkered flag for Dave Vilwalk in first place. A close race for 2nd, and it's J. Michael Kelly by about a boat length over Jeff Bernard. Steve David runs 4th in the Oh Boy Oberto. What a boat race. When you line them up like that, Mark, exciting stuff is expected. Exciting stuff is exactly what happened.
Well, I think that we got our money's worth for that.
Wow, what
that
a boat
heat.
race.
Yeah, they did. That was a very, very exciting heat of racing. Jeff Bernard taking the lead, battling back and forth with his teammate J. Michael Kelly, Steve David, and Dave Vilwalk on the outside. And finally, on that last lap, Dave Vilwalk just kind of walked away from him on the outside. I think he's shown he can drive around pretty much anybody.
And it's not too early to mention that Dave Vilwalk scores 400 points for that win. 300, 225, 169 for Steve David. I think that's enough of a difference now to put Vilwalk temporarily, at least, in the lead for the National High Point Championship. That's one of the very big issues here today. The National High Points, as well, of course, as being the champion of the Lamb Weston Columbia Cup.
Well, we've got 2A and Heat 2B in the books. Everybody went out. Everybody raced hard. Everybody came back right side up, and that we are very, very thankful for. And officially, our order of finish, Dave Vilwalk in the U96 Spirit of Qatar, a first-place finish. Second place to J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking by just about a boat length over the U5FormulaBoats.com. And Jeff Bernard, fourth place to Steve David in the Oh Boy Oberto. And we didn't call Greg Hopp's number very much, Steve, but he finished 5th in the Fleury Auto and Truck Parts, the U100.
We expected a great run from the 2 youngsters, Bernard and Kelly, in the red boats, and Mark, they gave us exactly that. Jeff Bernard's boat has not been good to him so far this season. They've had trouble qualifying. They had problems here, going as fast as they wanted to, but he won an event last year. He won in Evansville. We knew the U5 was fast. J. Michael Kelly has looked good this year in the U7, so it's not really surprising that those 2 boats ran as well as they did there in Heat 2B.
Great racing. Steve and I have to catch our breath. We'll be back in just a minute. We've got the winner, Dave Vilwalk of the U96 Spirit of Qatar, down on the deck. Let's go down to Patrick Nolan in the pits.
Wow, Dave, what a race. You come from all the way on the outside to win Heat 2B.
Yeah, that was fun, boy. Just like Detroit, the guys set the boat up to run well on the outside, and it ran over rough water. Other guys were having trouble getting through this turn up here. We didn't, and that was probably the difference.
What a field, right? You, Steve, a lot of very fast boats, and you come out on top.
Yeah, that's a good one. That sets the tone. Well, now we'll just keep trying to do it right.
What does it take to come from that far outside? You did it in Detroit, you do it here.
Just a lot of speed. We were a little bit back on the start, but we probably had more boat speed at the start, and so I could really thrust it in and out of the first turn and just kept gaining momentum there.
How does it help you that you've gotten through such a tough draw and now you've got the rest of the day really ahead of you?
Well, we'll see. We'll see who we draw. Might not be easy from here on in, so we'll see.
All right, Dave Vilwalk, winner of Heat 2B. Now back to you.
We understand that Steve David is unhappy about an occurrence. We mentioned it, in fact, during the live play-by-play. We were looking at our overhead shot, and I saw Steve kind of bounce from one rooster tail over to the other one. It looked to me, Mark, like there was a lot of room between those two rooster tails, and I don't know if he felt he got pushed out of his lane or exactly what his complaint was, and I'm sure we're going to hear more about that eventually, because we understand that Steve is a little exercised over the activity back there in the rooster tails in that heat.
Yep, he did lose some ground at that point. They were all even as they went through the Blue Bridge turn that time around, and he didn't come out with everybody else. He was 4 or 5 boat lengths back, maybe half a rooster tail.
It was definitely the reason he finished back in 4th. I think he probably would have been able to run up into the top 3, but that did set him back. A 3-lap race, not very long, and if you do make a bobble like that, Mark, you don't have a lot of time to make it up. But Dave Vilwalk wasn't the leader in the beginning either. It took him a while to get around those 2 fast kids on the inside. When he did,
as you can see, the Miss Beacon Plumbing is controlled by these flight controls, and they're controlled with my feet. So we control them down the straightaway by keeping the boat off the water, which makes it fast, but not too off the water, which makes it crash. So then we get down to the corner, and when we turn into the corner, we want it to stay on the water, but then at the same time, as it gets partway through the turn, we want to add more lift or more up elevator in an airplane to keep the nose up and to make it go faster around the turn. And you can see that happening too. So it's a real integral part of how the Miss Beacon Plumbing runs and what makes it fast or not. So all this is real complicated, but without the help of Bill Cahill and all the employees of Beacon Plumbing, couldn't happen. Kelly and Sharon, support us. Bill Cahill supports them, makes the whole world go round, and thank you, Seattle, for supporting Beacon Plumbing. They do a lot for us, they do a lot for the community, and looking forward to the race.
race fans, Sandy's Trophies is your go-to trophy and award store. Making memories that last a lifetime is what we do. Sandy's Trophies is your Water Folly Trophy sponsor. Sandy's Trophies, proud to support Fallen Soldiers Northwest and Gold Star families. You won't believe what we can do for you. Serving the Tri-Cities since 1964. Stop by 800 West Lewis Street in Pasco or visit at sandystrophies.com.
Is also known as the Columbia River Rooster Tails that are boat number 20. It's a floating patio for the pontoon boats, and they just came by and throwing out, and they've got some strong arms out there, throwing out rubber duckies to the crowd. The prowess of you catching a rubber ducky, you juggled, but you made the catch. Complete concentration. It was. You know, your focus is quite extraordinary. I tapped it up and a couple times, and then finally grabbed hold on those Columbia. I didn't want to miss my chance to get.
And the sun continues to shine on better than 40,000 here on the Columbia River. We'll be right back with the final heat. Don Poyer with Jim Hendrick. Tri-Cities, Washington, the final is coming up for the Budweiser Columbia Cup. And Miller driver Chip Hanauer hoping to defend his title. Scotty Pierce, a winner 2 weeks ago in Detroit, hoping to make it 2 straight. Adjusts the helmet, puts on the radio. Out of Coral Gables, Florida, Milner Irvin. He'll be driving the Frank Kenny Toyota. George Woods out of Seattle, his first ever unlimited hydroplane final heat. The owner of the boat and crew chief, Jim Harvey, assisting. And the man everybody wants to beat, Jim Kropfeld and the Budweiser. He would not be in the final if it were not for this man, Ron Snyder, finishing second in Heat 2B. Here is the field, the Pringles, the Madison, the Alberto, Kenny Toyota, Miller American, the Bud, and the alternate is Pietro's Pizza, that being Todd Yarling out of Madison, Indiana. All boats are running. We have 6 boats. This is Todd Yarling. He is in the final. We believe we have just gotten word the Madison has gone back to the pits with an oil leak, and here comes the start for the final. You heard the gun. The Budweiser in about lane number 3, heading for the first turn on these long straightaways. Look how smooth the course is as the Budweiser and Jim Kropfeld chases for his 4th victory. That's what he wants. His 4th victory in 1987 and his first ever here in Tri-Cities. He's never won. The Miller on the inside. Chip getting way up. Oh, on the inside. Look at that. He got a little bit of the wake of the Budweiser. His right spot's and going way up. He is holding on to second place, however, as he goes down the back straightaway. Yes, the Madison going back into the pits with some sort of problem. Looks like an oil leak. Oil all over the sleeves of Ron Snyder. And here's the Budweiser. Oh, getting a little out of shape into that turn. Kropfeld holding on and getting it back in good shape down the main straightaway. Budweiser, first place. Miller American, second place. The race for 3rd and 4th, the Pringles coming up on the inside against the Oboy Alberto. We got to get a time on the Budweiser here on lap number 1. He is screaming down the main straightaway. Speed for the Budweiser, 146.4 miles per hour, blowing away the course record for a competition lap. 3rd place, the Pringles, but 1st place, this man, after 25 years of racing, he is driving in what some consider to be the perfect hydroplane, the Miss Budweiser. Brand new this year, the Miller American. Chip Hanauer holding on to 2nd place is the Budweiser crew. Tim Ramsey in front, one of the crew members of the Budweiser. Again, the Miller American in second place, the Budweiser in first, the Pringles in third place, Scott Pierce, the winner in Detroit on that bumpy Detroit River 2 weeks ago. The Budweiser and the Budweiser team not winning here in 9 years. The last time they did it, Ron Snyder was the driver for Bernie Little, and now, thanks to Ron Snyder, the Budweiser made it into the final heat by virtue of points in the preliminary heats. The Budweiser, the Miller American in second place, the Pringles and Scott Pierce in third place coming down, and Todd Yarling in the Pietro's Pizza currently in sixth place. Look how rocky it is as you join Todd now going around that first turn by the bridge. As you can see, the whole world is going by in a real hurry at that speed. The Budweiser going down the back chute. Here's the Boy Alberto. George Woods and a Merlin engine inside there. That used to be the staple engine. This is the Griffin engine, turbocharged. 3 of them are connected to that Griffin engine. The Budweiser coming up, trying to lap Todd Yarling as he comes around the outside. Look at this boat. The profile, everything about it says speed. The Miller American, they're trying to tame this boat down. They worked on the sponsons prior to Detroit. They have a new air scoop here in the final in Tri-Cities, and this time it's going to belong to the Budweiser. 9 dry years, and the Budweiser picks up a victory here in Tri-Cities, the Budweiser Columbia Cup. Bernie Little getting victory number 60 in his career, and the Miller American coming in second place. Third goes to the Mr. Pringles and Scotty Pierce, but they win overall points. The most points of any boat today in Tri-Cities. Fourth place to the Boy Alberto. And fifth place to the Kenny Toyota and Milner Irvin. So the numbers, the Budweiser getting a victory here in Tri-Cities. Boy, it's been a long time. The Miller American, defending winner here from last year, gets second. The Pringles, the Boy Alberto, the Kenny Toyota, Pietro's Pizza, coming in after being an alternate, picks up sixth place. Down to the winner's circle. Jim, big swig. Congratulations. I know you were worried about this one. After 9 years, Bernie got a win here.
Well, my first win and Bernie's first one in 9 years was like it was a jinx here or something, but I think we conquered it with the crew we got here. These guys gave me a piece of equipment that you couldn't believe. It's fantastic.
Well, you had a 146-mile-an-hour first lap in competition.
Well, it had to be fast. You know, Chip's capable of doing the same thing, and Scott Pierce, he's very quick, and Alberto too. You know, they were all right there. And
I think you can sleep tonight now.
No, I'm not going to sleep.
Let's go, Jim.
Thank you. All right.
We'll be right back after this. Time to wrap things up here in Tri-Cities, and we didn't have a chance to talk with Bernie Little right after the victory, and we want to mention, of course, that it's been 9 years since you've gotten a victory here, Bernie. It's got to mean a lot to you.
Oh, it really is, and I must tell you, Don, that one of the greatest things that this was one for Dean Chenoweth all the way. Believe me, Dean sitting up there applauded us on all the way. I got to tell you that.
You never lose your hunger for a victory, do you? Especially this one.
Never. I was, what can I tell you?
I understand that you picked up a little bit of the Columbia River and had a little message.
Yes, I did. I picked it up, kissed it, put it back down, said a little prayer, and between it all put together, we finally broke our jinx.
Okay. Jim, final comment?
Only comment I have to make, now that I'm losing my voice and yelling all this race, is that the fact that it's a safe race, and I think that's important too.
Well, wait,
fastest course in the world too, and it was a safe race.
For me.
I think you've earned it. I think so. 9-year wait, I think he deserves it. Well, from here on out, we go about 300 miles to the west to Seattle, another place where there's been a lot of great racing tradition, and we will be there in 1 week. So, for Jim Hendrick, Bernie Little, I'm Don Poyer. We'll see you in 1 week.
WX and KNDU TV is proud to call Washington State our home and proud to be your true local station in town. Castle Event Catering is a proud sponsor of the Tri-Cities Water Follies. We hope you all enjoy and stay hydrated.
152, PACCOM, Roger, break, 46, PACCOM, radio check.
Anthology Event Venue is a proud sponsor of the Tri-Cities Water Follies.
46, PACCOM, Roger, break.
We hope you all enjoy and stay hydrated.
Benton County, PACCOM, Roger, out. Walla PACCOM, Roger. I'll be reaching out to you guys every 30 minutes for com show.
Apollo, building people who build great things. Turn to the expert, Apollo Interior. Keeping you cool this summer, call Apollo today at 587-1500 or visit them online at apolloheatingandair.com.
Hey, Chief. Yes, I can take it. Yep, yeah, I'll take it. I got the Miss Boats car this morning. Yeah.
Fed up with sinking your hard-earned money into that old, outdated air conditioner?
Yeah, appreciate you calling me, Chief.
Tired of not knowing if today is the day your air conditioner dies and it's blazing hot outside?
Chief Gilbert.
Been thinking of updating your system but thinking it's too expensive? Want to take advantage of thousands of dollars in discounts and rebates? Visit apolloheatingandair.com. Answer a few simple questions about your home, and Apollo will send you an estimate. It's that easy. No appointments, no salesman. You're just a click away from total home comfort. Apollo and online estimates. Revolutionizing the residential heating and air industry. ApolloHeatingandAir.com. Apollo Mechanical Contractors, proud sponsor of the 2020 HAPO Air Show and Columbia Cup. Sandy's Trophies can help you honor your loved one or that special person in your life. Birthdays, anniversaries, a new baby, or whatever an occasion deserves notice to be ready to give that special gift. Sandy's Trophies has more than 35 years experience. We can make your memory last a lifetime. Stop in at 800 West Lewis Street in Pasco or visit on the web at sandystrophies.com.
Hey, LT, this is
Make sure to thank your volunteers as you see them walking around. They're the greatest. The heart of the Tri-Cities Water Follies is the volunteers. Year-round, they plan, work, recruit, raise funds, and fund. We appreciate all the help from the thousands of volunteers who make this event happen year after year.
15 minutes ago, so I just wanted to make sure that y'all know that.
Thanks to Inland Imaging, answers you can trust and care you can count on. Proud sponsors of the 2022 Kids Zone.
New Toro, Husqvarna, or Gravely Mowers. They are in stock, ready for free delivery in the Tri-Cities and Farmers Exchange, and a complete power equipment parts and service center to make sure you make it to the finish line. All nursery items are 50% off in the full-service nursery and garden center, including watering. Nurture the team.
Joker's Casino is in the water. Jamie Nielsen will be coming back out. I just stopped boat owner Scott Rainey on his way up to the top of the tower, and I said, things okay? And he goes, we're sneaking up on it. We're sneaking up on it.
So they're doing a little fine-tuning adjustments.
Yes, they are, and I think you'll see the boat come out this time and run a little bit harder. I think that was probably a shakedown cruise on the first time that they went out, just to make sure everything's kind of bolted down, and it stayed. And I'm sure they checked all those motor mounts when they got in and said, hey, we're good. Now let's turn up the wick a little bit and see if the boat will go a little faster.
Any news out of the 3 Griggs Ace Hardware camp with Jimmy King?
No, just that there's a lot of work to do there, and if you want to. The referees were down there. I'm not going to make this claim because it's not my claim to make, but they're done. But they're not done until the officials say they're done, and they're not done until Ed Cooper, as the representative owner of the boat, signs the paperwork.
Got it.
And I heard conversations as I left down there about, well, obviously it's just a formality. But they're done. I mean, the damage is substantial on the bottom of that hydroplane, and it's really, really too bad. As you heard Ed Cooper say, talking to me on the dock, it wasn't an old propeller. In other words, it wasn't a fatigued propeller.
It shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't have happened. And you also heard Ed say, it happens to us too often. You heard him kind of throw that in, and so I don't know. I think he is. I think he's really disappointed. I had some fun here on my tower. There was he's stepping off the tower here now, but I just met a new fan. I met a fan up here. He's 12 years old. He's 12 years old. He's in 6th grade. Caden, you came up on the tower. You love the boats, don't you?
Yes.
What's your favorite boat?
Jimmy Shane, Home Street Bank.
Why is that?
I don't know.
You don't know? Come on, you got to have something better than that. Have you met Jimmy Shane? Yes. You have?
Yes.
All right, so that's part. Have you met any of the other drivers?
A few.
Okay. But you still like that Shane Dog guy, right?
Yes.
Okay. He likes the word yes, Mike. Have you picked up on that?
Yes.
Yes. Was well done. Caden, it was very, very nice to talk to you, young man. You just went up and down the shorelines here, and we're being picked up on the live stream, so you just went around the world. You can tell your buddies in class about that, you know. I think he likes that. Caden, it was nice meeting you. I'm going to go back to work. We're going to watch that Joker's Casino, the U11 by Caden. I think he had fun, Mike. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Perfect.
There's a lot of discussion going on down here, and it's...
all about the 3?
Well, just about the race and the format, where we might go, and
so
we'll kind of just watch things. But right now, everything is still on schedule to do.
So Brad, let's toss that around a little bit as we move to a 5-boat field with the loss now of the 3 Griggs Ace Hardware. Has there been talk about something similar to Madison? And maybe you could talk about that because you were there.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's just kind of some conjecture here.
Sure. So
what was done in Madison?
The shootout.
The shootout. And
yes.
I liked it. And we actually had 5 boats in Madison, which we now are down to here. We would really hoped we would have the 6 because it affects that shootout format. But the bottom line was, the plan was to run with the shootout if they had 6 boats, or in this case 5. But let's say, for the sake of an argument, in a format, you have an even number of boats. So everybody qualifies, and you have your fastest qualifier, second fastest, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And then there is a seeding process into 2-boat shootout heats. And 1 would run against 4, 2 would run against 5, 3 would run against 6. The fastest qualifier of the 2 boats in the 2-boat heat would run on the outside. The other boat would go on the inside as Jamie Nielsen comes away from the dock in the Joker's Casino, the U11. And you would go out and run a 2-boat heat. And if you were victorious in your 2-boat shootout 2-lap heat, you automatically transferred into a final heat. If you did not win your shootout heat, you went into what was called a last chance heat. And so 3 boats would go into the last chance heat. The first and the second place finishers would then transfer to a final. You've now got 5 boats in a final heat, Yeah, the 3 shootout winners and the 2 that would transfer, or in the case of Madison, you can only run 4 on the front line. So the winner of the last chance heat would transfer to a winner-take-all 5-lap final, and national points were awarded. The upside to the whole thing was, instead of having just heats on Saturday, you actually had racing that built toward a final heat, and you crowned a champion. And in the Tri-Cities, we crowned Corey Peabody as the champion of the shootout. There was a sponsor for it. And Corey Peabody, it was a sanctioned event. Corey Peabody got credit for a unlimited H1 race win. As Jamie Nielsen hammers hard into the corner here, he's at the apex. Boat looks good.
It looks a lot better.
It looks really, really good. And if I'm still sitting here at the desk when Scott Rainey comes down, we'll grab a word from him as he comes off the tower. But yeah, it looks real good running up the backstretch. There was a lot of conjecture about the shootout format. In Madison, they were going to run Heat 1A and Heat 1B on Saturday. 2 heats. Here we run 4. There's a difference in the format there, and so there's 2 extra heats here. But in Madison, there was only going to be 1A and 1B. So would you rather watch 2 heats of competition and be done with it for the day, or watch 3 shootouts, the last chance heat, and a 4-boat final, crown a champion? I thought that sounded a whole lot more fun, and you got more racing, more action on the water. That's what H1 was trying to do, and such was the shootout. Boy, he picked up the right spots, and just as he got to the last buoy here before the entrance pin.
Brad, first lap 149.860.
Okay. So he's sniffing the 150 mark up the back stretch. Jamie Nielsen, an extremely accomplished driver. We haven't had a lot of opportunity to talk about him, but of course he's got that history in the background of being drafted by the Kansas City Royals. He was quite the baseball player at Central Washington. Still has some records up there, I understand.
Dives into Shell Sun Market turn number 3 over to White's Finished Furniture and Hardwood's turn number 4 at the exit pin. And I thought at Tire Factory turn number 2, and maybe Derek's over there too, he really didn't push it too hard on the bottom end turn.
No, it doesn't seem that way over here, Mike. But then again, we were all looking
out of the throttle now.
Yeah, we were all looking at what we thought was a very casual run a little earlier here by Jimmy Shane too, and it just looks, sometimes looks can be deceiving at a glance.
Yeah, 150.200 on the second lap.
Good. Good.
And he's going to call it quits and head to Summit Funding turn 5, the only right-handed turn, and head back to the pits.
Chartreuse and Royal Blue, Joker's Casino.
Well, and it's so great to see them out on the water. We know the crews were hard at work yesterday. Didn't get to see a whole lot of them out on the water. So to see them come out and have a successful run twice now here this morning, just getting a feel for things, that is something to be optimistic about today.
Absolutely. And Scott is always an extremely optimistic guy. Mr. Rainey, sir, you said you're sneaking up on it when you stepped up the steps, and I would say by the speeds I just heard, that's what you're doing.
No, we got a whole lot more sneaking to do, though. We're still a ways off from where we need to be, where we want to be, so we're just going to keep plugging away and get it.
You going to try and get out one more time?
No, I think the course closes here now, and so we're going to go make some, read the computer data, talk to Jamie, make an evaluation, and make a forward step here, off what the data is telling us to do.
Thanks for stopping by. I'll let you get back to your driver and team.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Joker's Casino. Scott Rainey. We've been talking to Shannon. Now, being up on the tower, we get to grab a word with the other half of that ownership group. That's the Unlimited Racing Group, URG. Scott Rainey. Always willing to stop and talk.
Well, it looks like they have a little bit of work to do. Our tech updates, thanks to All City Transmission. We will have air show coverage coming up, and it'll be about a half hour before the Red Bull air show will take place with the helicopter, stunt plane, skydivers. It's a full package.
A-10 Warthog as well. You don't want to miss the over-the-river air